happened last game?
Well, following the drinks at the little boutique, Jaeger got pretty sauced and meandered elsewhere.
Found
Um,
them on the roof.
Found him on a roof. Alistair ended up going to the common building with Kanane. I can't remember where Say was during that time.
Unspecified.
Unspecified. Say was an unspecified location. At one point, we decided to get back together and pursue plans for heading to this hot spring, committing this ritual. We learned from Elaine that the ritual had to take place, outside of the town. It had to be in a camp of some kind. And we decided that, the hot spring would be two birds with one stone. We could make camp there, do the ritual, and also enjoy a hot spring. We tried to find Taliesin, the only party member unaccounted for during that time. Despite our efforts, we could not track him down. We managed to track down Jaeger. It seems that Klinkle was keeping an eye on the drunk Goliath. And after some nudging and poking and prodding and noises, he eventually was roused from his stupor. Kind of filing away the, not so much anxiety, but concern, I guess, for Taliesin not being around, we made our way toward the hot springs.
Well, we sent him a message, and we basically got "go away" in response. So
We did send a message. You're right. Yeah. So he wasn't having it. So we made our way out to the hot springs. We set up a camp, an actual camp, instead of a fake camp. Alistair hung back and helped Elaine put it together, while the others proceeded to just enjoy themselves. Alistair eventually joined. There was some splashing and some ribbing and some talking about various whorehousery. Just, locker room conversation. Good times.
Tieflings come in purple.
Tieflings come in purple. And Vera tried to suss out which of us preferred the velvet or the gauntlet. Spicy water was mentioned, as was the House of the Rigid Spear at one point. Eventually, everyone got into the hot spring and hung out and splashed and had a good time. Unbeknownst to Alistair, and I think unbeknownst to Say as well, Kanani was kind of searching for advice. She sought the wisdom of the mountain and got some words about a quandary she found herself in involving feelings for somebody.
idiot redheads who don't recognize overtures.
Idiot redheads who do not recognize overtures, it seems. I'd like to think that Jaeger set her straight, but mileage may vary. It was, I think, around that time that Alistair joined, and shortly thereafter, Elaine said, "Okay, we're ready." So we got out of the water. Taro took notes. Vera kind of watched on from the sidelines as the party gathered about a fire. Elaine spoke some ritual words, incantations, I think, threw a coin into the fire. And within a circle of salt, I think, some kind of circle, magic circle, a hooded figure appeared, which we understood to be Gokinyu, the Wanderer, Secret Keeper, and what have you, whatever titles that he had. We knew that we had to give something in exchange for information, secrets for secrets, or performances, or stories. Turns out that as a traveler, a wanderer, we could exchange those elements of travel and adventure that enrich the experience. At least that was my take out of it. campfire tales, performances, perhaps even dirty limericks, but we never got that far. Jaeger attempted to play his didgeridoo. It did not go well.
It was
Good.
a didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
Oh no.
Kakunu did not appreciate the didgeridoo, or rather, he remembered why he did not like the didgeridoo. Say shared her knowledge of the Black Tower and the Ghost Blood Schism. Klinkle shared secrets, alchemical secrets from the Land of Shadows, Atori. Alistair shared a story of guile and trickery. I think those were the stories that we shared. At one point, we asked about the relics in exchange for one of those stories, and Kinu gave us a big list of items and then mentioned the boots of the Far Traveler, his boots that he was wearing. After a few moments of thinking, Say offered up her boots of elven kind, and a good pair of boots seemed sufficient trade for a good pair of boots.
What?
So when the puppies ate all the gummies off my desk?
Hopefully they get some.
Let's see. Other information was asked about the Forsaken and where they were located. We discovered that the various locations of the Forsaken. Actually, I have notes this time. Oh no, but I'm unprepared. Can someone take over from here while I dredge them up?
We learned about the location of at least the Men in Black, which is a country of Ghost Bloods, whose
Ghost
names
Blood
I can't remember. Starts with a C.
Corinthia.
Corinthia. That was the one I paid attention to. There might have been others
Hell yeah.
that he told us, but that was the one that mattered most to say.
Yes. Absolutely. Say, like, fixated on that. I found the notes. So, the Broken nests in the castle of Kier. The Mad returns from his trip to the Underdark. He will be in the Vale beneath us soon. The Decayer has his laboratory set up in the forests of the Furbolgs and Bugbears. The Voiceless whispers in the islands of Aegis. The Liar and the Lightless are not here. And the Betrayer moves frequently. And you know where he lies, to Elaine, him and his Ghost Bloods, the nation of Corinthia, his nation, the nation of Ghosts. Do the Forsaken have weaknesses? We didn't ask that question.
We
Ask
were
if
running
could-
out of offerings pretty quick, so
We
I
were.
think we kind
We
of
were-
just were like, well, if it bleeds, it dies.
If it bleeds, it dies. We asked if we could stop this invasion. And Kakini gave us more or less that kind of information. Stop the Forsaken, and you'll slow it down. Which led to another question. Can they be stopped? Or could Hector be stopped? Kakini did not give us a yes or no answer,
Yo,
but something to the effect
Let him out.
of
That.
he's seen stranger things happen. Could be possible.
Vaxilon, what did I just say? Come
The
on.
seance summoning, the meeting with Kakinu, came to an end as he disappeared from the summoning circle, the containment circle, the magic circle, only to appear beside Elaine, uttering a cryptic warning about having
Okay, don't.
only
Stop.
one use of the coin left, or one summoning left,
But he can't be contained.
in that he cannot be contained. So we were kind of spooked a little bit. Not sure what was going on with that, or with Lane, or what this deal was, or what have you. We all kind of gathered around Lane. Alistair went for the coin that was in the fire. Kind of pocketed it, obviously, to
It
those
wasn't
around him.
hot.
The coin wasn't hot. The cinders were, and those hurt. I think other other important notes from last game, beyond what we learned. We identified what the boots did. I think Say gave the boots to Jaeger,
Say gave the boots to Jaeger and got Jaeger's boots in exchange.
but Jaeger's boots in exchange. I think that's where we found ourselves. Is there anything anyone else remembers?
I think that's it for game.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good summation.
Cool.
So, what happened after game in our forum threads?
Konane and Say had a little talk. And Say gave Konane advice and thanked her for her advice earlier in the campaign. Say told Konane that it was perfectly fine for her to not be ready to tell Alistair. And if anyone has a problem with that or pressures her, tell him to go hang.
Kanani doesn't know what go hang means, but she's sure it means something.
Context clues. Use your context clues.
She's assuming she has assumptions. There's some pieces together. There's not all language lost, but it's come down to basically everybody knows but Alistair. And probably Elaine. I don't think he's paying attention.
Oh, Elaine, I think. Elaine tried to ship them, like,
Yeah.
in season 1, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he told Alistair Kanani could show you a good time. And it went over both of their heads because Kanani was still grasping language at that point.
Good times.
One can never be sure what Elaine knows or does not know at any given moment.
Though Say basically did say, like, look, I understand where Alistair's coming from because I am also an idiot who does not understand when I am being hit on until way into the conversation, or they ask me outright. So just, you cannot, if you want to, or just grab him and kiss him until he stops asking questions.
I remember reading that.
I think I hit you and I am as being like, that is some Edith ass advice.
Say and Edith have some commonalities, I'm not gonna lie.
Commonalities. In a previous life, I think Edith might have been a redhead. Oh boy.
I think that's about it. There was only one form play.
Taliesin had a thread.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of some self-reflection. Also, would you like to share any insights that you were considering?
I mean, there was a bunch of stuff that was being considered that had bled over from the last forum, but there was some thoughts back on the clues that they had and the updated information he had gotten from Elaine. And he is now concerned that maybe one of the locations that they had was actually still back in the Elrani tribe lands, though he doesn't know much of the rest of the world, so he's not sure on that. And he's also somewhat thinking that one of the locations has to do with one of Elaine's companions now, or companion's daughter.
Interesting speculation. Okay. So tonight, we're going to start with the main group at the hot springs, and then I will circle back to Taliesin. So with Valor Company having completed their conversation with Kokinu, the mood evens out a little bit, boots are exchanged, and it's hard to say what... Well, why don't you all tell me how you feel in the wake of your conversation with the Wanderer?
Oh, that's a loaded statement question.
Was he a lot bigger than when Kanane saw him in the Vale?
I would say similar sizes because in the Veil he did like lean over and boop her. So
Okay.
In the wake of this, Alistair, shut up, phone. In his mind, he is,
Can I have the light? The bar lights.
in one hand, somewhat enchanted. Were the situation different, this entity may have been companionable. However, stepping out of the magic circle and making what seemed like a veiled threat, not really a veiled threat, just a threat, the dude wields power. And there's this subtle edge of danger, I guess. I don't think Alistair trusts him. Like, he trusts the information and he trusts, for this entity to abide by the letter of whatever this arrangement was. But I think he is concerned with Elaine and whatever deal has been made. Like there's some kind of dire or mortal peril in that arrangement. So to that end, he probably would not have left Elaine. He'd probably be sitting nearby or hanging out nearby.
to that end, you can see Elaine kind of prepping his like bedroll and otherwise busying himself with settling down for the night. Apparently, putting the encounter out of his mind for now. Want to check in with some of the others. How are the rest of you feeling right now?
Say's pretty indifferent, surprisingly indifferent to having just talked to a god. This is
You
just
get used to it after a while.
honestly like this is like the fourth, so yeah.
And probably not the most intimidating that Say's met.
Yeah, not really, not really. So yeah, she'll have her conversation with Connie and probably wander back to Vera.
Vera is currently sitting with her brother, kind of looking over his shoulder as he finishes his notes and observations on the encounter. How else is everyone else feeling?
Jaeger is much like, say, a bit 9+. Like, it was an absolutely amazing encounter, and it sucks that he blew his chance to impress a god. But, like, that was an encounter. What's next? Give everybody time to process stuff. Then he'll probably get around to asking what they actually want to do. So.
All right, Kanane, Klinkle, how are you guys feeling?
Kanani is a bit intimidated. He wanted things in exchange and they did well. Nothing went wrong, but the fact that Elaine has something going on with him and there's definitely some deeper connection and story that may or may not see the light of day. She just doesn't understand what Elaine must have done to get himself into this situation. Like he had a set number of times to summon Kokinyu, and this was his second to last one. What did he need to do before that? Like, how many times was it? What was the sacrifice that he had to make to get a deal like that with a god? And the caginess of when Alistair spoke to Kokinyu about the one who tricked everybody else, basically pinning Kokinyu as the guy who tricked all the gods to go to the other side so he could stay behind, but he had other plans that he's playing a big game, and it's like she didn't quite get the vibe that he was shrugging that off and lying about it, but at the same time it was like, is it just a very good guess, or are we on point with that? And it's very hard to tell. So she's just kind of beside herself with those thoughts, intermingled with the fact that everybody knows but Alistair about her feelings now, and she doesn't know how, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So she's somewhere in her head.
Okay. And Clinkle, how are you doing post encounter?
Thing, and deities will do as deities do. And generally speaking, if you can, stay out of under their feet. Like, we have to talk to this guy to, like, get things done, but, like, Kikinyu's gonna Kikinyu.
All right. So there was kind of an atmosphere of kind of sober curiosity and almost Workman like, well, that happened. Let's get down to business kind of atmosphere in the camp as everyone is winding down and figuring out how they want to spend the rest of the night. As mentioned, Elaine is looking like he's brushed off the encounter. Say, as you approach Vera, you can kind of overhear Taro murmuring quietly to her about his observations. And it does kind of seem like, oh god, this cat.
Yeah, was he meowing earlier? Because it sounded like he was meowing earlier.
He's always meowing. Not always. No, he was climbing on the back of my seat so he can try and get on the printer bookshelf again. Yeah, so say you catch a piece of their conversation where it seems like Taro, who was divinely agnostic for until he sat in on your meeting with Moradin, seems to be going over Kokinyu's mannerisms, and he seems to have focused in on that conversation about the trickster who sealed away the gods, and it seems like that's got him wondering and asking questions of himself. She's listening, but she does notice you approach and flash you a smile.
I think Say's just curious as to whatever insight Taro can offer, so she'll just sit into class. I'd take notes, but honestly, they'd be illegible.
Vera shrugs and kind of points her thumb over her shoulder at her brother. You should see the notes that he takes for himself. I believe he writes in a cipher. Taro just kind of grunts quietly. All wizards write in a cipher. It is to keep strangers from discovering things that we do not want them to know.
My writing has been accused of being a cipher.
Then you are well on your way to becoming a wizard.
I don't think the world is ready for me to be a wizard.
Vera snorts a little laugh at that. That was an intriguing encounter. It lends interesting insight into what I originally believed of the gods, as well as reaffirming that they are possessed of incredible power.
I'd say he's like the least frightening one. He's on level with Moradin for least frightening. Sylvanas was
like
more,
Moradin
I
is
could
good.
crush you anytime that you would like.
You've met Sylvanas.
Yes.
Kind of mutters a little bit in Undercommon. I believe that was passé long.
I hope so.
What was his manner like? Did he have mannerisms you could understand as a person to a person, or did he seem removed like a god?
Gonzo feels like a lifetime ago. I think he was a bit grumpy. He didn't murder anyone. I'd say average forest hermit for caring about others.
Taro's scribbling some quick notes down.
Taliesin would be the one to ask, though. He would actually remember. I had other things on my mind.
I will make a point of speaking with Taliesin once we get back to the refuge. I am intrigued in how the gods present themselves to everyone. We are often told one thing about them, and they are presented in a certain manner according to their various religions. But when faced with the reality of their presence, they seem to conduct themselves in many different ways.
In future, I will keep better notes, and by I mean Alistair will keep notes because, like I said, mine will be illegible.
A smile flickers across Taro's face. Well, I also enjoy a puzzle now and then, so either way will work with me.
I'll keep that in mind. He says that now, and then he gets a letter from Say, and all of the letters are mixed up upside down and backwards.
He just smooths it out on the table in front of him, breaks out a parchment and quill.
Begins writing it again. Anyways, that will be a future lesson. Right, so we were planning on heading back to the refuge tonight or camping?
I think that is a good question to address to your companions. It is, she looks up at the night sky. Rather dark. Not that that bothers me any, but I know some of you overlanders have certain qualms about the darkness.
As long as it's outside darkness and not inside darkness, I'm fine. But I'll ask the others.
We will abide by whatever decision you all decide.
Alright, Say's gonna go talk to the others and see if we're camping out for tonight or if we're gonna hike back. Either is fine.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was Elaine not setting up his bedroll just now?
He was under the assumption that everyone was staying.
That would be fucking hilarious.
It's one vote for one vote for staying.
Getting up and going.
Actually, oh god, I forget how many of you have realized by now that Elaine has a very odd sleeping schedule.
I thought he didn't sleep.
Yeah, Say is under the impression he probably doesn't sleep or doesn't sleep much, because she's stood watch with him a couple of times now.
Yeah, just making a note of that as he prepares his bedroll as though to go to sleep for the night.
I'm sure he likes to lay down and stargaze as he doesn't sleep.
You're also welcome to roll insight if you like.
I'll roll insight. $25.
Holy shit. Anyone else rolling insight, or everyone just kind of focusing on their own worlds at the moment?
I'm just staring at him funny.
All right. Konane, Elaine seems anxious to you. Like, this looks like the nervous tics of someone who's just going through the routine of something familiar to calm his nerves. He may have forgotten that he doesn't really sleep.
Okay, so Kanani, Alistair is there, but she's gonna meander over to the two of them and. Elaine, are you quite alright?
That? Yes, yes, yes. I'm perfectly fine.
That does not sound very confident.
Does it?
No.
Hmm. I have to work on that.
Maybe.
But really, no, I am fine. Just such encounters always leave me a little rattled.
I would imagine. It seems you have done this before.
Once before.
So he granted you 3 times?
Yes, there seems to be some recurring theme in travelers' tales about deities and fey entities granting 3 wishes or 3 boons to those who seek them. He seems fond of that rule of 3.
Seems very like him. Do you mind telling me what the first one was for?
Perhaps another night.
Fair. Well, I assume you do not sleep because every time you are with us, you are awake when I go to bed and awake when I get up.
He pauses like halfway getting into his bed, like taking off his coat and about to get into his bedroll when you point that out, and he pauses and looks down at his bedroll. Oh, right. Well, this is awkward.
There is nothing wrong with getting comfortable.
That is a fair point. I think I am going to lie down and stare at the sky for a little while. And consider my life choices.
Those are not very good thoughts, Elaine.
Yes, I know. But if I think of them often enough, perhaps I can learn to avoid them in the future. Man, I feel like starting with the Drow accent has really thrown off my Elaine accent. I think I can choose Germanic or French, and whichever one I choose to start with for the night impacts everything else I do.
Checks out.
Well, how are you doing, Alistair?
Alistair's been holding on to that coin. About as well as I can expect.
He was no more then.
No, here's Kikinyu. Different flavor entirely. Much less, less stuffy, a lot less gruff. But something else about him doesn't quite sit right with me.
No, same. There is something off. I can't place it.
I think it was the cloak. Nothing good comes from people wearing cloaks. I mean, with the hoods drawn.
The deeper the hood, the more unnerving they are, Elaine says as he lies down in his bedroll.
Kind of gesture toward Elaine and nod. Hey, it's not exactly friendly.
It's borderline a cowl, if you think about it.
Kind of nods. Looks the coin over a little bit more. And Alistair shifts his attention from Kanani back to Elaine. So, this ritual, is it always a ritual with a campfire? Or is it any time you just ask him to do something and he does the thing.
Elaine shakes his head. No, it's something I have learned about his kind is that their attention can be anywhere in the world at any given moment. The ritual serves as a way of drawing their attention toward you.
He's gonna flip the coin over in his hand and look at the faces.
It looks like a old Aegean gold piece.
Okay.
It's stamped on one side with the image of Kanemaru, and on the other side is just a Aegean symbol.
And he nods.
You can keep that gold piece if you like. It's more of a symbolic gesture.
And he clasps his hand around it. But you can do it again without the coin.
Elaine nods. Symbols, rituals. It is more about the meaning of the thing than the thing itself.
And he'll pocket that. Good to know.
Perhaps it will give you good luck.
Oh, I could use it.
The god of travelers, after all.
He nods a little bit. The whisper of a smile.
We could use all the luck we could get for where we're going.
That is true. Look and rest. Stretches. Looks about. Takes stock of where his allies are.
I believe Say has finished her conversation and is kind of standing amongst the group.
Yeah, I'll be heading over. See fucking Elaine in his sleeping bag. Alright, I think that's a vote for staying.
Is
Are we
there a
going?
possibility of leaving?
We have a vote.
I didn't know if we were going or staying, and just was trying to get a feel for everyone.
I assumed you were staying. It is quite late.
Right,
Alistair's gestures toward
humans,
the camp.
forgot, sorry. Yes, it is quite late.
Sorry, I know. If only we could
There's a
sleep
loud
for 4 hours.
in the background from Vera.
Well, I mean, later or not, we did go through the trouble of making camp. Not a fake camp, but a real camp. Might as well use it. Unless, do we have a reason to go to the refuge early?
Seeing if Tally's in a better mood and getting him read in, but I think we can do that in the morning.
Alistair thinks on that. When you enter Taliesin, he kind of like, his eyes open a little bit, still remembering something, and he takes a few moments to think, and then reaches for that coin that he had pocketed. He places it on his thumb, and he flips it. I'm gonna roll a d4. He nods toward Hugh. I think it might be safe enough to stay the night. Unless there's a push to head out, I'll vote for staying.
Staying is fine.
I think he might need a night to himself,
It's
Taliesin.
not a terrible plan, either. Alright, camp is made, so I guess we'll enjoy camp now.
All right.
It is good to ask. We do not want to assume.
Is there anything anyone else would like to do before you bed down for the night?
set a watch. But other than that, it's fine. I feel like between the elves and Elaine, we've got a watch handled. But Say would like there to be one.
The elves are definitely willing to participate in the watch. Elaine just kind of waves vaguely since he now knows that you know that he doesn't really sleep, so he's okay
There's a
with it.
difference between sleeping, or rather, just being awake and being on watch. Say knows.
And at one point, out of the corner of your eye, you do notice a large form
Nikatos.
prowling along the edge of the camp in the darkness, his red eyes glowing faintly in the darkness as he watches the camp and then just kind of turns and wanders amidst the hot springs.
Fair enough.
Well, Kanani will use. Well, she can. For free, she can turn back into her hybrid form. So, because it's kind of chilly here anyway, even with the hot springs, she's going to definitely be more herself and transform and, I guess, start getting ready, readying her bedroll and stuff.
All right. Watch is set. One last call for anything to do before you turn in for the night.
Nah.
I can see Jaeger playing his didgeridoo all sad as he's winding down for the evening.
Sad didgeridoo.
Nah, after he rolled the nat 1, he's just gonna leave that alone and
He just stares at the didgeridoo and contemplates his life as a musician. All right, the party beds down, settles in. And as the night progresses, nothing really happens. It's very calm, it's quiet. The warmth of the springs and the chill of the high mountain air create a fairly comfortable atmosphere for camping, and night progresses and eventually the sun comes up. You feel refreshed, ready to face the new day. And will you all be setting off shortly after sunrise, or gonna wait a little bit?
Probably
I mean,
just
if we leave right in the
Oh, go ahead.
if we leave right in the morning, we might get waffles.
We should leave as early as possible so that we can. We do have a war to fight.
This is true.
I'm more excited about waffles.
All right, so you set kind of a wake-up call for yourselves at 6 in the morning, since it's about a 2-hour hike down to the.
I have an alarm bird. To be
You
fair,
do have an alarm bird.
I have an
You
alarm
have an
bird.
actual wake-up call now. And what did I say last time? Was it a 1-hour or 2-hour hike back down to the?
2 hours.
You said
2 hours.
just
That's what I
now,
thought.
but
It was a 1 hour hike to the place last time, and then an hour to set up, which is where I think you got 2 hours from.
Ah, okay. 1 hour. Perfect. All right. Probably would have been longer in the dark, so good decision. All right. So with the party set to return to the refuge at 7 a.m., gonna wind back the clock a little bit and check in on Taliesin during your watch over Mariah's slumbering form. Do you do anything in particular in the evening in the refuge after you verify that it seems like no one's in range of your earrings?
leave the earring in, occasionally flip through my notes. Since I'm quieted, so just double checking my notes, sanity checking words, overanalyzing, and wishing people were there to bounce ideas off of. But that was his choice.
Alrighty. Do you spend your trance time in the room?
Yep. He just trances in the seat.
Okay. When you emerge from your trance, you do find Mirai lying in a slightly different position, as though she rolled over or moved in her slumber, though she still remains asleep.
I sigh, kind of relieved, seeing that she's finally had some sort of movement. And at the time I come out of my trance is just still really early in the morning. So yeah, I would just quietly sit there and re-up my meditation so that the room has a little bit of light on the ceiling and the smells return, just because it's better than stale mountain air.
Yes, indeed. All right, and come morning time in the refuge, is there anything in particular you'd like to do?
Assuming like around, I'd wait for the communal breakfast to be prepared below, start to smell the smells before I would actually move out of the room at this point.
Yeah, the travelers tend to start cooking up breakfast around 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, Especially now since the town still hasn't quite gotten accustomed to um, they haven't quite gotten back to their normal lives. So a lot of people and refugees rescued from the mines are in the common center, the communal center, either helping out with breakfast or getting ready to partake of some fresh food and drink.
Then yeah, I would probably head down there around 6:30, 6:45 ish, to have let a larger portion of people get through first before I try to do anything.
Okay. So you're gonna hang out in the breakfast area for the moment.
Yeah, they'll just get in line, meander through the line, grab some waffles and some bacon, and eat silently at a table.
All right. So in that case, we move forward to about 7 o'clock when Valor Company returns to the refuge. Before you reach the refuge proper, you do encounter a small group of orc scouts who are venturing higher in the mountains. No real challenge there. They greet you, they recognize you. They're just out and about doing their patrols, making sure everything is safe. You continue on to the refuge itself. You find a new collection of orcs kind of patrolling outside of the wall and venturing into the hills and the lowlands beneath the refuge. You can see some of the wargs are wrestling and tussling with each other. Some of the orcs themselves are wrestling as they greet the morning. Others are just standing by, scratching themselves as they drink from water pouches and whatnot. When you make your way through the open gates of the refuge, you are somewhat surprised to find Telemon up and about. He is currently seated with his back against the building opposite the gates, but as he sees you start to cross inside, he rises to his feet. You can see that he has it looks like someone or many someones has stitched together a kind of tunic for him. It looks like it's made of bed sheets.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh,
It hasn't been really adjusted, so it does look loose and somewhat ill-fitting and multicolored. But it's something. He's no longer walking around bare-chested. But there is a expression of concern on his face as he gives you a slight bow as you enter the courtyard before him. Good morning, fellow company. Why are you sending me Boots of Leaping? Oh no, you're sending it to someone else. I forget that always pops up on the DM side of things.
Yeah, so you know we're not trading secrets.
What are you doing? Why are you giving that away? Good morning, Valor Company. I am pleased to see you return in one piece. I hope your night has been pleasant.
pleasant enough. I mean, there's a hot spring. It's pretty nice.
We get very clean.
Looks like you've got some new duds.
Yes, a gift from the village here. And he
So
kind
you're
of plucks at it.
You're looking quite fresh.
Thank you. It is not quite my style, but it would be discourteous to refuse.
Alistair nods.
Well, it suits you. You look very nice in it, even if it is a bit strangely colored. But, well, you do need a lot of fabric.
I think the colors make him look like a merchant.
You see, he actually looks somewhat crestfallen. But he shakes his head, kind of dismissing it. I hope you do not mind if I request a favor from you all.
What can we help you with?
It has been several nights since we have been here. Well, 2 nights, I suppose. But my companion, Mirai, she has not come to visit me, and after making some inquiries of the residents here, no one can recall seeing her of late. Her safety is one of my priorities at the moment, and I would like to make sure that she is okay. Would you be able to assist me in locating her?
That's actually a very easy ask. Yes, we can do that.
Oh yes, definitely. We can find her.
Thank you. I recognize that you may be able to get into smaller places that are otherwise inaccessible to me. Thank you. I will be in the courtyard where you found me in the other day. He nods to Klinkle and Kanane. It is spacious enough and is not seeing a great amount of use, and the residents of the home there has grown fond of my presence.
Aww.
Just kind of nod toward Telemon. It's good to see you're making friends. We'll find her, and then we'll find you.
Thank you. Once I can speak with her, then I will look forward to making plans on our next courses of action. And he gives you all another bow as he retreats to head back to his courtyard.
I bow back.
A wave.
Diego waves as well.
I wonder where she is.
Well, first place to check is always breakfast.
Yes, breakfast.
There's a lot of people there, and someone will have seen her.
That checks out.
And you continue up your way and make your way to the communal house. Once you get up to the Refuge's town center at the very top, you can see Faravax is curled up in his nest of rocks and junk and bits of metal. He sleeps with his wings drawn in, curled up. One eyelid opens, but the second eyelid does not as you cross through the path. His first eyelid slowly closes as you make your way inside, joining the other travelers.
You know, sometimes I do wish that my mother was here for this. Just the pure chaos, I think, would explode her head.
And you enter the communal hall to find several refugees and travelers up and about. And you do see Taliesin sitting off to himself.
Off by himself. Alistair's gonna not break away from the group, but he's gonna make a line toward Tally, try to get his attention.
Yeah, come on, I will follow along.
Taliesin, you do see your companions heading over.
Yep.
Tally! Tally!
Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling fine.
Well, you didn't want to join us, so I thought you were feeling bad.
Well, originally the plan last night was for us to leave after 2 hours, and I assumed that people were just trying to convince me to come down and do some other fun stuff, and I just felt like not doing that, so I said no.
Diego lifts a brow. Are you through? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm okay.
Oh, well, shoot. I suppose we could have done a better job conveying what we were planning to do. But now I feel stupid.
We only had 25 words.
That's fair, I guess. Well,
I mean, it does come down to properly communicating what you want to do. If you just have someone reach out to me and say, hey, where are you? And that's it. There's not much conveyed. If you say, hey, where are you? Timetables moved, we need to leave now. It's a little bit different.
I'll have to think about
just
how to
food
put
for
that
thought.
into a message.
If it were me, I would be curious why someone would be looking for me. Vera kind of murmurs and shrugs her shoulder in the background.
With recent
Well-
new traditions, I thought it could be just about anything, really.
Well, clearly we made a mistake in not explaining ourselves, and we'll learn for next time. Right? Next time we'll get it right, Tally. Sorry. You didn't miss much. We made our way to the hot spring, and we made a camp, and and he kind of glances suspiciously.
We met
left and the
Coquin
right.
you. He gave us some.
Okay, I was going for discretion, but yeah, sure.
As you glance around, Alistair, you notice that Elaine is gone and already in line for waffles.
And Alistair just nods to corroborate what Say had said.
So what were his clues, or did he not give any because he was a cagey fucker?
Well, yes, he was that thing. But he did give us some information. Out of character, my notes are inaccurate to what has been shared in chat.
So let me read this out for the recording since I had to retcon some things, which I apologize for.
Yeah, that's right. I have inspiration today.
You do have inspiration today. So Kokinu had mentioned the lore keeper's ledger was once kept locked within a tower of ivory, but is now carried by the self-proclaimed first among equals, who in the name of ruin sought preservation. The truth seer's recourse has passed from hand to hand and vault to vault, a weapon used by those who stood against the triumphant tragedies of the arcane. Now it rests in the hands of the second born, beneath a maelstrom of the gods' making. The robes of the ever-knowing are vestments sacred to his order. They are kept in his holiest of temples, kept aloft by one of the elements that define the land of his birth. And you already got the boots.
And we got the boots.
They leave dust everywhere.
Dusty boots?
They were wearing them yet. I imagine Say and Jaeger would have just traded at the camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Say had no shoes.
Oh.
She could not hike back with no shoes.
Do we not have a proper item card for that?
No.
Oh,
There
I should
should
put it.
be.
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
Yeah, let me check something. 1 second. Let me try this.
Just send it to me when you can.
I'm going to try and do it right now, and I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing in Foundry, so.
Sure.
All right, Jaeger. Swing to your inventory. Relics. All right, I dragged it over. Did that do anything?
Relics
Oh yeah,
of
it's in there under equipment.
Oh, yep, that I see it.
All right. First thing when you click on it, and it shows you what you can do. So, I would say you have time to attune to this. It's not configured to automatically do anything yet. I'll probably ask Rob to help me with that.
It is. Movement speed is increased. It's
Oh, cool.
auto magic.
Perfect.
So
And
equip and attune, and I'll go over your shoulder to help you with that.
and Jaeger, tell me if you can see the word testing in there.
No.
Cool. All right. You may proceed.
So, boots we got. Jaeger's wearing them. Those. So I was just checking our notes, and hadn't had a chance to update you on things I found out from Elaine. So we have a very, very narrowed-in definition of where the robes of Ever-Knowing are supposed to be now. We know, because of your new clue, we know that they're on Talaria in the temple to the Ever-Knowing. And I don't know what element defines the land of Talaria, whether it's air or something, but I am certain that temple will be quite obvious. Although the first clue that we got suggested that his order had become corrupted, so that's probably a fight. I guess you already know what the first one would be, because that seems kind of obvious.
Alistair nods. There aren't many ivory towers out there. And first among
Nope.
equals sounds
I would like to push him up something very tall to simulate the airship that he knocked out of the fucking sky.
Yes.
I will settle for smashing his chest in, like mine got smashed in, fighting a bunch of fucking Goliaths.
it's kind of wince a little bit.
So that third one, the second one, the Truth Seer's Recourse. I'd scrolled down notes as he was speaking. So I realized after a little bit of thinking, some of the things we were told were for not things from the past, but things currently happening. And a maelstrom of the gods' making is a weird wording. Because if it's in the hands of the secondborn, but a maelstrom is usually in water. Unless they're referring to some other swirling thing.
Taliesin, you're fairly well traveled. And in fact, while Say was training, you did a little bit of traveling on the continent of Gavany.
Ferondis?
No, Ferondis is a nation in Gavany.
Oh, okay, Gavany, yeah, sorry.
Give me a history check.
Sure, I'll just roll this live. Actually, well, too late. I was going to say I was going to use
I
inspiration.
haven't seen the result. I have my eyes closed.
I will roll it one more time. Well, the first one was better anyways, so my inspiration is gone for the day. 14.
Okay. Yeah, so far, your reasoning based on where you were when I interrupted you feels correct. You may proceed.
So I don't know how it could rest in someone's hands if they're in the water, unless they don't breathe. And I'm not sure of the title of secondborn. Maybe Elaine would have an inkling of that, perhaps. I don't. The only thing that vaguely resembles a maelstrom, well, would be the giant storm that we just went by. But I don't know if that counts.
Let's
it's
go
just
fight it
scratched
and
his head.
find out. Please, I haven't shot anything in days.
Really, I mean,
Oh.
there's no way of knowing unless we actually check it out.
It's fair. So I did find something else out, and Konane, Klinkle, you might actually be able to help out with this. So for the one Sylvanas told us about, and he mentioned where wisdom fell, or where wisdom died, I should say. Elaine said that I'm going to assume it was the Sage of Wisdom, Katarina, had once told him of a holy forest Notori at the base of a mountain, and he's fairly certain that there's a temple there, and that seems like the likely place it could be. Konane, Klinkle, are you aware of any such holy forests in Otori?
Is Kanane?
Alistair is like staring at Kanani because Kanani had just finished talking about all the different forests and stuff back home.
Okay. I'm actually double checking something because something occurred to me. Konane, I need you to make a intelligence check. This would actually affect something prior to the question on forests.
All right, that's a 16.
16. Okay. Something as Taliesin repeats the message Kokinu had mentioned, particularly regarding the secondborn. Something kind of something kind of tickles at the back of your mind. Something that was said in the conversation you had with Telemon the other day.
Vax, come here. Big mirror.
Oh no, I'm drawing a blank.
Thank you.
Fuck.
The second born.
As you start to try and think back to why did mention of the second born trigger a memory of this conversation, and you're not even sure what part of the conversation it
I know it was something about the gods and shit. Now I need to look for
and that's about at the point when you start being asked about the Forest of Otori. As I pull up some questions. So, Taliesin was asking Konane about a holy forest.
Yep. He specifically said he described what Elaine told him. So a holy forest in a valley at the base of a mountain that happens to possibly have a temple in it. And after giving all those descriptors, he asked if Klinkle or Konane had any insight into such a location.
Yeah. Without rolling, Klinkle and Konane will have some insight. As I'm frantically trying to check my notes to find the actual name of the place. It'll take me a little bit longer to find, but Klinkle and Konane, you both know that there is a really large forest at the base of the mountains that's regarded as holy among Atonans. It's a very deep, very old forest, and there are stories of how Wisdom herself long ago had led a pilgrimage into the forest, and that was kind of what had given it um, its initial stories, the initial mythology behind it. But the air of mystique around it was enhanced because it was said to be at the foot of where Wisdom was struck down by Ruin during the Days of Fury.
Okay. Well, Kanai will explain that. Is there anything else that she would be aware of, or would it just be that?
You would also know the name of the forest, which is what I'm trying to pull up.
Oh, sorry.
No, not you. I'm I'm annoyed that this is nowhere near where it's supposed to be. That's actually not the name of it, Rob. It'll be a minute. Continue on. If you need more questions, I will help. Be with you in a moment.
Well, let's see. What else? There was more. I flipped through my notes. Hammer of Creation. That's on the Fire Islands. My notes here from Elaine say it's home of a dangerous dragon, very likely not friendly or prone to taking goat sacrifices for trade. And it's those are volcanic islands with an obsidian glass shoreline. So,
Ooh, this is going to trigger another thing. All right, so Konane, the Shinsei Mori is the name of the forest. I'll spell that out for you.
Are you done? No? Just gonna attack Daddy's hair now?
So that is the name of the large
Yeah,
forest
the Wild West.
at the foot of the mountains of the All Mother in Otori. And at the talk of the Fire Islands and a dragon and an obsidian shore, Jaeger, this
Hi.
sounds familiar. In fact, his Taliesin's description reminds you of the story that one of your uncles told you when you were younger. One of your favorite uncles, one of your favorite stories, actually.
Okay.
It was your Uncle Ragnos, um, who was known who had some fame in your village about, um, who had gone out to seek his fortune and returned scarred and burnt and very pleased with himself because he had achieved something very few could lay claim to.
Did he have sex with the fire dragon?
Was he a bard?
No, you recall that your one-eyed uncle, as the left side of his face was completely burnt, um, had stolen a single gold coin from the horde of Ragnaros the Fire Tyrant, a dragon who made his home in the Fire Islands,
Oh no.
well known for their obsidian shores. In fact, his adventure stealing from Ragnaros is where he got his chosen nickname of Ragnos. And that's when your Uncle Dav became Uncle Ragnos.
Alright, I found the post for the lore drop. Because Kanani talked to Talaman about dragons and giants and their whole history, and giants are the second born.
Explain.
Well, in the beginning, the dragons were given paradise, and they abused it. So, it was up to the giants to restore balance. So they made giants to balance out with the dragons.
Does Kanani share that with the group?
Yes, she will have that realization and put two and two together and blurt it all out.
Huh.
So, you think that the second born is not a person, but it's a people?
It makes sense now. When Telemann first said it did not sink in.
Incidentally, the story Konane shares of dragons being created and then giants does not feel or sound familiar to any of you.
All right. Well, that's a different creation mythos, but you know, anything's possible.
So, in the hands of giants in general beneath a maelstrom that the gods made?
Is there a land
Or
of giants out
just
there?
a giant?
We could do Telamon his favor and then try to ask.
And then get a favor back. I like that. That's a good idea.
A favor? What?
His friend is missing, Mirai.
Yeah, the one with the sharp reflexes, sharp eyes.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yes, no, she's she's healing up right now. Where's Telemon?
Healing up.
What happened?
What did we
Well,
miss?
resting up.
She,
She had a curse.
Ooh.
Not only did she have her memories blocked, she also had a curse on her. So she had a double whammy of effect.
Alistair kind of blinks. Can I put
She's
two
been
and two?
sleeping.
Can I put two and two together? That's what the diamond was for.
You were technically there when he was mentioning it, so yes, you would have figured that out.
Okay. I remember making the diamond. I just didn't remember if you pointed out what the spell was for.
Yeah, you were in the area when I was asking about it, and I said I needed it for a spell to help Mirai bring back her memories. I was not coy about that.
Okay. Alistair scratches his head. Okay, yeah, we should definitely tell Telemon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So 2 more things. God, my notes. So Castle of the Carrion King, for the Tome of Spellweaver, that is apparently on Aegis or Aegis, and Elaine says he knows very likely what castle it is, but he did not actually name it or say where on Aegis it happens to be. So
We'll just find him, turn into a bear, and pin him down until he gives you a straight answer.
I mean, I could do that fine.
Elaine murmurs as he rejoins your company with a plate full of waffles and a mouthful of the same.
Bear pin him after he swallows. We don't need him choking.
Yeah, do not talk with your mouth full. That is rude.
Hey,
let's see. So, here, yes. The valley draped in mist of suffering is not the fields of mourning, but as I thought back on it, at the time we were told that information, that actually fits for the deep wood a little bit.
the deep wood was
Because-
pretty misty, and there was a lot of suffering.
And while the mists were there, the spirits moved fairly freely among the mists.
Worth
And-
noting, the deep wood was not in a valley.
I thought technically it is, since there is a mountain not too far from it. It technically would be in a valley.
If you want to go with that, that's perfectly fine.
It's Taliesin doing a technically. It's the only thing he has to go off of so far. He's just
If
not
you
sure.
were to show- if you were to show your map to someone and ask if this is a valley, their first instinct would be to say no, and then you'd have to go technically.
Yeah, that's
Take with that as you will.
he's grasping at straws right now for that. He also so there was another thing here. So Path of the Renegade King. Elaine didn't say anything about this, but I'm curious. Would any of you describe a pirate king that turned on their allies a renegade king?
that sounds a bit renegade-ish.
And
Renegatory, you may say.
that is true. That does sound fairly renegade-ish.
Alistair nods.
So, in the land where the 1 breaks back to 3, the Spellbreaker's Shroud lies in the path of the Renegade King. Where would the Pirate King be, and where would they be going?
I mean, Arsene.
Yes.
If you're looking for a pirate king, it's an Arsene.
Arsene is definitely the place in this part of the world that would. Yes, the Pirate King rules from Arsene.
Just understand half of portion.
Shipping routes?
This is me. Possibly.
So, this is all very fun, but can we maybe, like, fight the wall that is directly on our doorstep and then worry about the treasure hunt?
Oh, yes, this is just. If something happens, no one knows how to read my shorthand, so sharing information with as many people as possible ensures that maybe it still happens if one of us is to fall. You know, just covering things.
Kind of lower a brow at Taliesin and frown a little bit and nod. Right then, let's walk and talk. We can go over your notes.
Also, bold of you to assume that we're going to let you die and not drag your ass back for more fighting.
We have a cauldron. You put a person in it and they come back.
Who will be the first to try out the cauldron?
We aren't entirely sure what's going to happen to the person that's brought back in that cauldron since it was being used by forces of ruin.
Well, let's hope we never have to use it.
I mean, I have a method that's slightly better.
I do too. Don't
Depending on your
die.
definition.
I'd also like to
Right.
point out if you're making plans to do when you failed, then you're planning to fail.
No, it's called
No,
making
that's
contingencies.
yeah, that's just called a will. It's not actually a prophecy.
Alistair shrugs and starts walking. Call it what you want. I'll call it a lack of optimism.
Which
You
direction?
would.
Toward the door, toward the way out to find Telemon.
Kanani's gonna take one of the waffles off of Elaine's plate.
Oi!
Put it in her mouth, and stare at him as she eats it, and then walks after Alistair.
That is entirely uncalled for.
You talked with your mouth full.
That does not give you the right to steal my waffle.
You didn't stop me.
You have a point. You could have stopped her at any point, and yet you didn't.
Elaine scowls and goes to get more food.
It was just one waffle.
He eats every waffle he can get.
He really likes waffles. Say Vera tells you that she and her brother are going to get some food, and she will save a spot for you at a table.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll go get some food eventually.
Yeah, you're gonna go get some food. Why not?
Honestly,
Stop for food.
no, Say's not gonna get food. She's gonna find a map and just stare at it and start trying to make fucking plans.
Okay. Letting Alistair venture off alone.
Kanani went with him. She
Ka-
took
yeah.
a waffle.
Yeah,
He's
and
got
she went
Callison would
after
get
her.
up and walk with him too.
He's got a druid and a sorcerer. There's at least an off tank and a DPS. He'll be fine.
We got Fireball. We're good.
The perfect party to go up against an angry giant.
Fireball and the ability to cast to get a lot of flying things to drop something off of a cliff. I think we're gonna be fine.
Polymorph.
All right, so Jaeger goes to pile up his plates. Say you pull out your map and set up next to Vera to start pondering.
Yeah, start thinking about plans, take in the new information, and start looking at plotting a course. Primarily focusing on the next few days, though, and, winning this battle before we move on to the next one.
Okay. Alistair, you lead your little party down to Telemon's courtyard. You arrive to see him standing and drinking water from a rain barrel.
Checks out. I'll hail him. Just wave my arm up. Telemon, sir, Mr. Telemon, sir. Excuse me. Hello.
He sets the water down and motions for you to approach as he brushes his lips.
Hi. Sorry. Not sure how loud or how frequently to yell in your direction. You're very very tall, and my voice is very small. But we've got news. About your friend.
That was incredibly quick.
Yeah, we get things done quick here.
I'll take over, Alistair.
Oh, sure. As you were.
Mariah's safe. She is well. She is resting in the common area, or in one of the rooms in the common house. I had helped her to regain her memories, and apparently there was a secondary issue where something had actually cursed her and knocked her unconscious, but the leader, Shepard Drummond, who was also a good healer, was able to remove that curse. She was unresponsive for about 24 hours, but she is moving about, still sleeping, and regaining her strength after.
You see, as you inform Telemon, he frowns as he listens. I knew of her issues with her memory. This was discussed when she showed up within my keep. I had thought she was going to wait longer before she sought assistance with this.
That is partially my fault. Assuming that you were going to be moving along with us and she along with you, it seemed wiser to devote my ability in a time when we weren't going to have to be able to fight forces at a moment's notice, because the ability I used takes a lot out of me. So after I had explained the situation and where I was coming from, she had acknowledged and said that sounded like a good idea, at least given the situation, and she gave the okay to try it.
Why was word not sent to me of her condition? I had mentioned that she was in my care and her well-being was my responsibility.
That would be my fault. From the time it happened, I spent every waking moment I could making sure, keeping watch over her, making sure that her condition did not change. And during that time, I had not thought to come to you. And I do apologize.
You see him close his eyes for a moment and then nod slightly and open his eyes again. What is her condition now?
The last I had seen her less than 30 minutes ago, she was still sleeping, but it seems like it was a restful sleep, and she had moved at least a few times in the night, since she was no longer in the same position she had been in for all day yesterday.
I will speak with this shepherd then. Perhaps it may be possible to move her somewhere closer so that I might keep a better watch over her.
I nod and bow my head. He is likely to be found up in the common dining area, as he apparently likes waffles, or making waffles for people.
Yes, I have heard his name mentioned here. I will send word to him. Thank you for the information.
You're welcome, and again, I am sorry that I had not thought to come to you sooner.
See Telamon looks, stares at you for a moment, and then nods slightly. It is not entirely unexpected. Your kind is short-lived. You think very quickly. It is fine. I appreciate you keeping watch over her during her recovery.
I nod and, do a slight bow again.
He nods to you.
Look back and forth between Telamon and Taliesin, and Alistair's just kind of like wincing internally as this kind of unfolds, unaware but not commenting on just what went down. And he'll turn his attention to Telamon. Sir.
Yes, young master.
Master, I'm flattered. We also have a bit of a question. You are ancient and learned, as Denali has pointed out. You seem to have a wealth of wisdom, at least some of which you have shared with her. You travel to many places in your keep, yes?
Indeed.
I would hope it would not be presumptuous to ask such a thing, but is there by any chance a land where giants or giant kin gather? Perhaps one located near or under a storm, a maelstrom of some kind. We've learned of some myth that is very important for us to learn more about. Such a place was mentioned. The language is cryptic, but we believe that it may pertain to giant kind. This maelstrom of the gods' making.
You see him blink and kind of cock his head to one side, eyebrows raising as you question him. You speak of the hold of the storm giants.
What? Hold of the storm giants?
Yes, it is the capital. It is a city far underwater, built around the maelstrom created by the collapse of a land long ago struck down during the Days of Fury. I believe you call it the Valorfall Sea in these times.
Valorfall? There are people living there? Wow. Not people, but giants. Well, I mean, you're people. You're just tremendously large and ancient and majestic.
No, we're just small.
Fascinating. That does sound like a place that would be appropriate for this myth to have taken place. And I'm gonna look at Taliesin and just try to gauge his reaction.
Because I've been thinking a lot about this, I'm like, huh. We are woefully undereducated when it comes to giants. Are storm giants as friendly as you?
They are a stern folk. They are the rulers of our kind, but despite being such, they tend to keep their own counsel. So long as we abide by our rules and live quietly, then they see no reason to interfere with such things.
And would they have scavenged from any detritus on the sea floor from any prior civilizations, or would they have just kept to their own makings?
The storm giants do not scavenge, they reclaim. I have not been to the Maelstrom Hold myself, but I have heard that it is a beautiful place.
Okay. Well, reclaim, well, that, for what we're looking for, reclaiming would definitely be a word. Well, thank you. That definitely narrows down where we need to find that.
Alistair nods briskly.
Oh, silly of me, and us. So in the Valor Falsey, and it is legitimately beneath a maelstrom. So if we were to somehow fly over it, we would genuinely know if we just went straight down, we would reach their city.
I would advise against diving into the center of a maelstrom, but yes, from what I understand, their hold is built around the maelstrom on the sea floor.
That is what I was. I know not to go into the center of Maelstrom. It was more a generalized statement, trying to make sure that it is genuinely directly beneath
I
the
understand.
vortex.
All right, we'll probably have more questions if you don't mind. But for now, I think we're going to reconvene with our party. Make sure that Drummond makes his way to you and get some kind of arrangement for your ward to remain closer to you, so you can keep an eye on her. Again, apologies. I think Taliesin put it best. And we'll be in touch. Good chat. Thank you.
He nods solemnly. I appreciate such fast results.
Well, us short-lived folks, we do live and think quickly.
And you move quickly as well.
Sure do. Sure do. All right. Alistair's going to go to. He's going to bow. Then he's going to go to begin moving back to the common area to reconvene.
Kanani will also give a bow. Thank you so much. And you need anything else, do not hesitate to ask. And she will follow after Alistair.
And Taliesin will bow and bring up the rear.
Okay. As you are meeting with Telemon, say you lay out your map. Vera gets some food for both you and her. Taro gets his own. Jaeger claims his breakfast. You settle down at the table. As you settle down, you see the Goblin Union wander in, led by Frank, making their way over to the food line to collect their breakfast and kind of chattering to one another in their strange tongue. Vera brings over the plate of food to set beside you as you look over your map. So what is it that you are studying this morning?
Well, I think the next step will be the storm. If we can stop that machine, apparently it's very easy to blow up, we'll have better long-range communication, which will help us, I think, be able to start amassing troops for a march on Kia.
It sounds as though the freeing up communication is certainly a good idea to assist you in your endeavor against Kia.
But the moment we do something that big, we will be committed to probably not returning here until we have hit all the rest. I should point out a rough path between the various targets.
She nods thoughtfully, looking over the map. Is there some way that we might be able to assist you?
I think setting up regular rendezvous might be a good idea. If only to give us some breathing room. Turn over any more prisoners that we apparently take now. I don't know. You're smarter than me. What do you think?
Vera snorts a little bit and kind of pats you on your shoulder. I have never planned out a war before. But it sounds as though your plan is reasonable. Just do not forget that there are several of us invested in combating our enemies in the Vale, so we are here should you need us.
Yes, I think right now, if we can take down this dam storm and get communication, we can... Stay with me now. I think we could take down the rest of these points and then everyone converge on the harbour and just completely take the harbour, hopefully with minimal damage, so we can reclaim some sky ships.
That is a daring plan.
It would be even more daring if I reach out to my Mareki contacts once we have the ability and have them provide us some water and air support.
Vera nods. Clearing up the communication channel will certainly assist with that.
I don't know how into the idea Kane will be, but we'll see.
You did mention that he was doing something, yes?
I don't know what he's doing. Frankly, he kind of terrifies me, but not in like a I'm scared of him way, but in like a he seems unpredictable and doesn't particularly like me way.
To be honest, that describes the entire political body of my home city, so I understand exactly what you mean.
But it might be worth it anyway. The Mareki Warhost is not small. And being able to converge on the harbour and then move directly from there to Kia, we might be able to do a blitz attack as quickly as possible. And then we can go treasure hunt like the rest want to.
I believe that is a solid basis for a plan.
Joy. Alright. And she will begin picking out some good possible rendezvous points. She is not eating breakfast.
Alrighty. As you begin to map out some rendezvous points, we are going to take a little break.
Oh,
Let's rendezvous within 5 minutes or so.
cool beans.
Wonderful. Be right back. I am back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And my print is complete.
You have a printer? What?
What'd you print? What'd you print?
So, last week I saw a flash sale on a 3D printer that I decided I could not pass up. So I picked up the Elegoo Mars 2 Pro.
Ooh, nice.
Apparently, Misha got a 3D printer last week on flash sale.
What'd you
I
print?
I just printed the basic Rook thing.
Oh.
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
But now I don't know what to do. So let me consult my instruction guide here.
Oh wait, so it just came off the print bed?
Like it just finished.
Okay, so yeah, do you have latex gloves to put on?
I do.
Okay, so you just let that thing sit and drip for a bit, because it just finished. And once we're done with game, or maybe even tomorrow morning, you'll put on those gloves. And actually, I have to ask you a follow-up question. When you got the Elegoo Mars 2, did you also get a curing station with it?
Nope.
Okay, that's gonna be fun for you.
It's easy. You don't need a curing station. You can clean the print with rubbing alcohol. I generally do 2 washes. You don't want to dump it down the drain though. You want to actually keep it, and you can cure the stuff that's in it and filter it and reuse the alcohol.
Interesting.
Yep, that's the method
Yep.
we do. So, because I have found that having a curing station or double curing it makes it brittle. Even if it's just for a little bit, it weakens the resin.
Toby is staring at me like he expects me to do something.
As a cat should.
I think I owe him some playtime tonight. We will get started again shortly.
And I am back.
I'm back.
Hello. Welcome.
In a world.
Yes? Is this you wanting me to hold you?
All right. Are we missing anyone?
Dom just went somewhere. I think he's in the toilet.
Ah, okay.
He's gotta save the princess.
I have a cat in my
Luigi, we gotta save the princess. She's in the toilet, Luigi. She's in there. I seen her.
Mario, you're on ketamine!
Jeez.
Speaking of, I'm still a little bit concerned about the casting for the new Mario movie.
As are we all.
Are you not content with the choice of the crisp rat?
I like him at doing comedic bits. I don't know if he was just deliberately shit panning a fake accent or if that's going to be his real accent in the shit when he said it's a me Mario.
It's a
If
me,
that's
Mario.
and if that's going to be what he actually talks like in the movie, I swear to fucking God.
I think DK is a solid choice. I think Jack Black as Bowser is the best choice.
Yeah, no, there's no argument about that.
I think that could go either way.
The only person I can think of maybe being a better Bowser is I can't remember his name. He was Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast. He usually gets cast in that kind of role. Did he play Hellboy?
Welcome back.
Oh,
No.
Pearlson?
No,
Yeah.
Ron Perlman was
Perlman.
not Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast.
He wasn't Beast, but he was Hellboy.
He was
Yes,
Hellboy.
he was definitely Hellboy though.
Ron Perlman also has a doppelganger. There's someone who looks very similar to him who's an actor.
Ron Perlman was Beast in the
Freshwater Perlman.
he was Beast in the TV series.
Yeah, back in like the what?
Oh, okay. TV series. That's different. Yeah, that's different. I was live action movie was definitely not it.
I mean, I saw a live action Beast, and I haven't seen a movie or a series, so it's all not cartoon.
Yeah, it was Hellboy and John Connor's mom.
Dan Stevens was the Beast in the film that came out recently. I didn't know there was a live action series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. I was interested by it, but I didn't have a TV at the time.
We have everyone back now, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let's dive back in the game.
Oh, hell yeah.
Jaeger, Say, as you guys are eating your breakfast and reviewing your map with your companions, the rest of Valor Company comes trooping in.
Alrighty, well, broke the news to Telemon, and he had some things to say, but it was fairly amicable. He also had some information about well, we think we know where one of the relics is.
That's very good.
Wonderful. We'll add it to the list of clues. But right now we have
Right
a
on.
war to fight that's right here.
Of course. So where are we on that front? We know we want to go and tackle this the machine. We get communications going. I have concerns about that, but I do think it's the best. It seems to get us the most bang for our buck, I suppose. We'll get the most out of it.
Yes, Vera and I have been working to set up some rendezvous points for after we take down the machine. I was thinking that the best course of action might be take down the Eldritch machine, take down the Hobgob command, because it's in between that and the entryway, and then take the entryway, and perhaps from there if communication is back up and that theory pans out, we send messages to the Murky Warhost at some point to help us take the shipyard with as little damage as possible.
Alright. They're over mountains. How long do you think it would take them to scramble a warhost?
Hey, DM, how long do I think that it will take to scramble a warhost? One that's already mustered?
They've got a navy, right?
Waiting for Mish.
Sorry.
Stuff Say would know.
Yeah, they do have a navy, and you do recall that much of the navy was kind of gathered at Kelmar when you guys were over there. The navy was also kind of spread out in the ocean north of Kelmar as well, because they had reported some piracy and some issues around here, which they were investigating. So the Navy is active and moving. Most of the Mareki war host was on its way to Sor Alarin, which you intercepted, and you know that Kane rode back ahead. So technically, the army is already mustered. By now, it's probably in Kelmar. And you did leave behind a lot of information and instructions regarding where the war was headed. So, in theory, a lot of this might already be in motion.
Yeah. So Say will say, right, so because they were planning on marching on our neighbors to the south, everyone was already pretty much mustered. The Navy is already in place to make an assault on Kier, or to at least to investigate the piracy around, this area. I think that we're in good shape. They could very likely meet us, or maybe even take the shipyard for us while we take the entryway. I think
They
that's
could.
not a terrible option.
I think that's a great option. I think if we can get them to do some of this work, they go a long way to validating what we told them about. Indeed, there is an army with a shipyard in the Vale. Cool. Yeah, we'll take down the machine and attempt to send a message out. At the very least, we can get the Navy to do something. And I don't know about troops crossing the Black Fangs. It's a lot of mountain.
No, you don't. Okay, so you put the troops on the boats, and then the boats sail around.
Okay, that makes more sense.
They're called Marines.
Right. Well, if they're coming in from the shores, that's one point of attack.
And if we're
That's great.
we're mustering our troops. We can come from. They're coming from the west, and we're coming from the east. We can catch them in the middle.
In the middle. Right. So our troops, we of course mean the Windrunners, right?
Yes, the Windrunners. Any support the Union might be willing to provide, probably back end things. Us. That's us.
Right. Well, I think it's we've got allies. We've got some power at our disposal. Those goblin lookouts are kind of a problem, but if it's just us moving in the woods, we could probably avoid detection. Yeah.
Well, we can avoid detection by killing the patrols.
That works too. I've been thinking about coordinating and moving things along and getting messages to and fro. Kind of rolls his hands a little bit. Kind of been noodling on a project, and I think I might be able to make something. It's not going to be able to send a message, but do you have a pouch on you, a bag?
Actually, yes, I think so. Give me just a moment. And she'll start digging through her shit.
He's going to reach into his own, satchel and pull a sack out of the bag of holding. Just a small pouch, roughly like gallon size. Right. So, imagine my bag and your bag shared the same space.
Okay.
Not on the same spot. I mean, if I could reach into my bag
and be in my bag.
And put my hand into your bag, but putting my hand in my bag. So we could put something in any bag.
Seems like a very complicated way to ask me to hold hands, Alistair.
But no, I mean, hey, if you want to hold hands, we can do it. I'll be straightforward about that. I'll hold your hand if you need me to. But if we were to send notes or small items or keys, and I look toward Taliesin, or a tiny mouse, someone with a faraway bag, it might be worth investing some time into. I think I can get 1 or 2 of these done if we take time during camp. Maybe, I don't know, 10-hour session. I can get 2 of them done. Maybe less. I'd probably link up to 5 of them at a time. If the math
The
is right.
range.
Well, it's not exactly infinite. After scoping out the maths and checking, what I know about demi-planar physics, I think I can get one bag to speak to another bag within 100 miles of another. So, if one bag is 100 miles from another bag, then it can talk to another bag that is 100 miles from that, and daisy chaining. That's the term. You could daisy chain bag between bag between bag, and create a relay. If we had someone small and quick to hold bags, we could get messages or items or tiny mice to places they need to be far away very, very quickly. If I'm right. If I am wrong, I'm usually not wrong. I'm usually not wrong.
So, the veil here, most places we could make do with 2, one for us and one for another location. But if we're trying to daisy chain specifically back to the refuge, we will need at least 3.
He nods. Well, to that end, we also have the ability to communicate between ourselves and Elaine, or kind of squints at Elaine. No, we could communicate with ourselves and anyone so long as they have that amulet. So we could have someone hanging out, being a information station, I suppose, coordinating, have people in position among various areas, and yes, 3 would be ideal. 5 would be perfect. 5 we could get just about anywhere. If we get people to move.
I mean, in the Veil, 3 is the max that you would need if you had people just positioned in one spot.
Right.
That would allow that would allow things to work because of how long it is, how wide it is. At max, you would need 3, or 3 separate ones on top of the one that you have. If you want absolutely that much, if you think you need that contingency.
I think it might be worth investing. But again, it won't be. It's going to take resources. It'll take me a little bit of time, and it's going to take some of the liquid assets that we've earned ourselves. So I thought I'd run it by the team, see if it's worth making, if it's something we need. It'll help. I'd like to pursue it.
I think it's a good plan. We should pursue it and then worry about who gets what and where after we take the veil.
Right then.
Yeah, it is worth trying, especially because it gives us. Do you have to still be holding it for it to work?
Well, you have to reach into it. It's like a bag of holding. You can't just open it. You could turn it inside out.
No, I mean, let's say we were to be silly and lay one of these on the ground with an opening down, and I were to be a mouse. Could I walk into it and then someone with their hand ready pull me out immediately? Or would you have to put me in the bag?
I think you'd be able to crawl into the bag, yeah. Getting into the bag is the easy part. You need someone to reach in to pull it out.
So you just figured out how we could cross the entire veil in a moment.
What?
Konane and I can each change someone into a rat at the blink of at the drop of a hat, we can do this. I can change myself. Yes, she can.
Alistair's
She can
just
do it twice.
Alistair's sitting there like dumbfounded, blinking, and you can see like the mental math not adding up because a kilogram weighs more than a feather. Because lead's heavier than feathers.
So, if you don't mind losing a bag, if it is disposable at a location, you have the bag on you. We take a location, and then if we have scouts out towards another location but in a safe place, we do the message. We do our thing to transform people, and we do more than a day's worth of travel pretty much instantaneously. And it
Theoretically,
just means you're leaving behind your bag.
well, theoretically, yes. That would be the risk. There would be leaving the bag behind, but maybe that risk could be mitigated. I'll put some thought into that. I wouldn't want someone to get a hold of it. But I mean, bombs and fire exist, so maybe there's something to do to mitigate that. Theoretically, I'm going to need to take a moment to think that out and consult my notes, but I think so. I think we could.
Okay.
That's the player asking the DM, is this sane?
I think the only restriction is that someone needs to be on the other end to pull whatever is in the bag out. If you can meet that restriction, then it's feasible.
All right.
I'm a one-way teleport almost.
We give Nikotos the other bag.
Oh, God.
You need someone willing to pull you out on the other end.
No,
Yeah,
I mean the bag
She
that
means
we
the
leave
one that we
behind.
give up.
The
If
bag we leave
Nikados comes
behind,
in
we
behind
give
us
to
as
him.
Shadow Boy and gets it and runs, we don't lose it.
Holy crap.
If he's willing to help.
This is stupid.
I will give him
It is stupid,
so
but
many
it
meats.
also it also makes sense.
It's very clever. We should consider starting on step 1 before we think about step 15, though.
Yeah,
Just pointing out that we have like top 30 minutes left in game. Can we please start moving towards the adventure?
Well, if he's going to craft something, then it's going. We have to at least
Yeah.
know how much time he's going to need to craft, because
He
depending
said he was
on.
going to craft it at night in camp.
So
Okay.
long as we actually camp and I can actually get some, I think I have enough pauses if we move at sane time frames. But of course, there'd be no way to get them back unless we send a runner out. So we'd have to,
Yeah,
coordinate.
that's the issue. Is if we're going to make multiples, we have to have them with people and tell them where to be and have the stuff with them.
Which will be easier to do if we have communication, so we should go take down the Eldritch Machine. Please, can we go do the thing?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. With some plans and plots and ideas made. Anything left that you want to attend to in the refuge before you head out? Easy to assume that you're going to pass along to all of your allies your current plans and what you intend to do.
No, I think we could just, say that we're going to do the thing, get them to be in position, leave the sages here so they can coordinate.
Is Elaine coming with us?
Entirely up to the party if you would like to bring anyone along,
Oh,
so long as they're willing to come.
So if Telemon's staying, I just want to have Jaeger do a quick arm wrestle with him. Just a few dice rolls and be done with it.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to that. Okay, any allies that you would like to try and bring with you, or inquire about whether they would like to join you?
Farrah's really good at punching, and Elaine's really good at magic.
Fair.
Taro is also very good at magic.
Taro is also very good at magic.
Taro's also very good at magic.
He's good at a very different kind of magic than Elaine.
Well, don't worry, we'll have dead bodies soon.
Oh, we're gonna have so many dead bodies.
Oh no, that's actually kind of a good idea. Can he be convinced though? He's kind of a butchish type.
He's a fuddy-duddy.
That too.
He is also a scholar.
I'm sure he would like to see this machine.
I think, yeah.
Before
I
we
think that's a
drop
good
some
idea.
grenades on it.
To help us drop some grenades on it, maybe he can help us figure out how to turn it off.
Yeah, let's bring the NPCs. Let's bring the trio. Let's bring them.
All of
Go
them?
on a big adventure. Big ass adventure.
Okay, but if we're bringing them, we need to leave someone else with the necklace so that we can communicate to our
We
rendezvous.
leave Elaine
guests.
behind because he's being punished.
We could hear me out. We could leave it with Frank.
We could leave it with
We
Frank.
could leave it with Frank.
Let's leave it with Frank. Let's cut a deal with Frank.
Let's cut a deal with Frank. Or the head of the Windrunners might also be an option, as more likely to be in charge of setting out patrols / rendezvous / whatever. Resupplies.
True.
Drogon is the sane choice. Frank is the fun choice.
Frank
Dro-
is a chaos.
Frank is fun, and his voice is amazing. But, however, Drogon makes more tactical sense.
Yeah, you're right.
I can
Absolutely.
picture Valor Company discussing this, and Elaine's looking back and forth like, what? What?
Did you have questions, Elaine?
Well, now I think I want to stay behind just to punish you.
What?
I would never punish you, even if you talk with your mouth full. It is fine. We are
You stole my waffle.
because you talked with your mouth full.
That's punishment.
Then we are paid back. Then you no longer need to be bonused.
Elaine will actually volunteer to stay behind. He does know how to use the necklace if you leave it to him, and of the people left behind, between Frank and Drogon and some of the other refugees and travelers, he probably knows the most about what's currently going on in the Vale. So he volunteers to stay there to keep eyes open and act in whatever way you need him to. And with Nikados, he has a way of reaching out to you, although that might take a little time if Nikados has to use the ways to reach you. Vera and Taro, as you pitch the idea of this eldritch machine to him, he is interested, as Alistair, kind of the thing that drew your attention to it back in the day, is the same thing that makes him curious about it. However, understanding the need to travel swiftly, he understands that he's going to need to leave his bodyguards behind. They are not as good at traveling stealthily and unnoticed as he and his sister are when they're solo.
Don't worry. You can make more. I'll make some bodies for you.
That is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
And if you need to get out of someplace quickly, we can do what we did before.
In regards to Vera,
No,
that
that's
is-
Taro. Oh
Yeah.
no, you're talking about.
yeah, no, I'm
never
going.
mind.
I'm moving on to the next NPC.
I got confused. Okay.
Taro's already agreed to go with you.
Fantastic.
Vera is willing to go with you, or willing to stay behind and keep tabs on Elaine, wherever you want her.
In bed. Kanani
I say
will
we take her.
Kanani will say that in Otonan to Klinkle because it's funny.
Right. Why don't you come with us and we just trust Elaine to be put on his grown-up shoes?
Excellent, she says as she cracks her knuckles. Elaine just shakes his head. No respect at all.
I said I trusted you to put on your grown-up shoes.
He just squints at you.
Well, are you putting on your grown-up shoes, or are you just going to squint?
Don't you have a war to fight?
Yes, can I please go kill people?
Yes, please go kill the people. And he makes kind of a shooing motion with his hand. And come back in one piece. All of you.
I
That's
will
the
come
plan.
back in two out of spite.
I don't
Say
think
holds up that like maybe hand signal as she starts to head out.
All right. So Valor Company gathers up their things, gathers up their allies, and sets off from the refuge. Okay. So are you going to hike down or magical fast travel? Without going too deep into crunching numbers, kind of looking at how you want to travel down into the Vale.
If we can do even one round of magical fast travel, it would be super helpful, I think.
I believe with the mountains, your magical fast travel is most efficient since that's rugged terrain already. So being able to negate and move quickly down the mountainside. I think with magical fast travel, you can move 2 squares through the mountains, or is it 3 into the thing? I'll check for you real quick.
It's 2. If we're doing the fastest way we can go,
Yep.
just for one, it's for as much as we can. It's 4 for a full day. If we're going maxed out everything, 2 for doing half a day.
Okay, so half a day's worth of effort can get you down out of the mountains and into the forest. Kind of, which way do you want to approach it? That way, or that way?
I mean, if we dive into those woods there, we can take refuge in the deep woods. If we go to the river, we'll be exposed for a bit, so I vote we go toward the woods.
Yeah, I think woods is the best option. Then we can keep track of those war balloons if we need to.
Yeah, because there's one down here, and
Okay.
if we go in the woods and hide down that way.
So we're moving from the intersection of 3 different things. So we're going to end up here, right? If we move 2?
Yeah.
Alright.
But you would pretty much be in the forest. Yeah.
So there we go, cool. That's half a day's travel, so 4 hours of travel?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, cool.
That's with flying eagles, because I believe the eagles don't drain you guys as much as the polymorph stuff.
Yeah.
The eagles do, because that's the polymorph.
I thought the eagles was the staff.
We don't have a staff?
It's not
No,
staff, it's the crown.
Oh no, the
And
staff to summon.
and that's owls.
Giant owls. That's what I meant.
It's owls or horses, which have the same speed, which is not as fast as the eagles.
Okay. Eagles it is then. So yeah, after having breakfast, once midday hits, you find yourself in the mountain lowlands in the southern edge of the Vale. Now, once everything's done, we'll say it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're down on the ground here.
All right, let's say we make a camp or do some scouting, then make camp. See what's in the area, look out for threats, maybe hunker down before we prepare to move again.
Make a camp and then.
Well, no, scout and then make camp.
Okay, so we're gonna make a camp and then keep moving.
No. I'm sorry. I thought we had to rest at some point.
Sorry, I thought the DM said it was like 2 in the afternoon.
Yep, 2 in the afternoon.
All right, so I thought we were only traveling for half a day.
Half a day will get you here. You can still continue moving on if you like.
Okay.
You've got reasonably about 4 more hours of travel time, which would put you into the next hex, kind of in the forest area.
All right, so we're just traveling on foot then?
Yeah, it might be a good idea to get into the forest and have a little bit more cover.
That sounds good.
Saddles, sore butts.
Thank you for moving that. I was clicking every button, but I couldn't find the right one to grab it. All right. So the forest in the southern edge of the Vale. It's thinner over by the river that leads into the Vale, but by moving inland a little bit, you're able to move through some of the thicker vegetation, which gives you some air cover. A lot of the trees here are tall and old. As you move northward into the Vale, towards the area where you originally saw the Goblin Scout balloon, you realize you do have cover from the air. So at the moment, as you head through, you don't feel the need to stealth too much. You don't see very many signs of heavy activity in here. But towards the end of your travel day, as the sun sinks on the horizon, you start to feel like it might be a good idea to settle down, and when you next set out, you will likely move into the scouting area where the balloon is located. So in the evening, as you set up your camp for the night, no caves in this part of the Vale. However, you are able to find a relatively secluded spot that gives you mostly cover from the air. You set out your camp, you begin setting things down. I believe this might... Go ahead.
Does Taro have tiny hut?
I don't believe Taro has tiny hut, but let me double check real quick.
Or any other spells that might offer us a little bit more protection?
Taro, what do you got here? He admits that he was not prepared to travel when the day began, so he does not have anything prepared that would be good in terms of shelter. He's got a lot of things that can help out if something bad were to happen to you, but best he could do would probably be to coat the place in darkness.
Fair enough.
We could dig a hole.
Kanani knows, what is it, New Earth?
Kanani knows what?
She knows Mold Earth, so she could push dirt and make kind of like, with some work, she could probably make some kind of little underground cave den area.
Hobbit hole.
Hobbit hole.
Up to you if you want to invest in the Hobbit hole.
Oh, she'll suggest it to say and see if she wants it done.
I wouldn't mind having just a little bit more cover. They have got night patrols and better dark vision than we do. Well, most of us do.
Kanani knows. I will get to it then. I will find a good spot to start.
At least the trees in this area are relatively easy to climb and give you a good view, Varys says before promptly taking off up the side of evergreen tree.
You're right, and I'm just gonna run up a tree.
That is not fair.
I'll see about helping Kanani build some kind of camp out of this hovel, whole hill thing.
And he has a shovel in his bag.
He does. Of course he does. I'd also like to take Hermes out of the bag of holding and command Hermes to just keep an eye out. Hermes has better night vision than I do.
Emmett can help.
Emmett can absolutely help. He can pick things up and put them down.
Yep. Well,
Help move. If there's a big root in the way, he can just snap it in half.
and Taro is able to help by setting out some ghost lights for the party.
Hey, you, scoot.
Ooh, nice.
Basically allows the use of a torch that only you all can see.
Very
Oh,
cool.
that's good.
Okay. And you all bed down for the night. Are there any details or information that you would all like to go over as you settle down that evening?
Watches will be set.
Watches will be set and trees will be climbed.
Does Taliesin know that Velkin the Mad? Actually, with because Rob had noted that we would have talked about that while walking and talking.
Yep.
I would have Taliesin would now reach out to Taro and say, the Mad. What is he known for?
Taro pauses to collect his thoughts as the DM pulls up his notes. Taro leans back and considers. Velkin Zamad. He frowns a little bit. He is wild. He is an individualist of the utmost degree. He rages at those who would seek to shackle and bind, and sees the very notion of preservation, of keeping things the same as anathema to all that is. It is his thoughts on justice deal very much in being unruled, untamed. He is not a popular god among our people. He is a bit too wild for their tastes. There's a certain mania associated with his followers.
And what is his domain? What is he the master of?
Velkin is a master of. He is often associated with storms and destruction.
Oh, that would have been nice for someone to mention.
He is a wild god. There are no organized churches in his name. Most who follow him organize themselves into cults.
So you wanted to kill a god, right?
Taro blinks several times. I do not recall saying such things.
I speak up so that the rest of the group can hear. So we're moving towards a place that has a gigantic unnatural storm that just sits on one spot for the equivalent of 2 days travel in any direction. And the information you said you gleaned from the traveler is that the Mad is coming back from the Underdark and will be in the Vale soon. Doesn't it make sense that he might be the reason that storm is there and might be going to the center of it?
Might be. Best to put a bullet in him soon then.
Yeah, it could be. We should probably move quickly once we're done here.
I see your questions were leading now.
Know your enemy. And it's very concerning. Okay, good to know.
Yes,
Sleep fast.
I am not eager to meet one of these. Our gods are not very right.
Well, you've already met one.
Oh. Have I? As he pauses to consider and then realizes that you mean the man in black.
Yes.
He kind of pales a little bit. That does put some things into perspective. With that hearty idea in his head, he settles down for the night.
And Taliesin just offers to be up on first watch with whoever else wants to be on first watch. Which is usually an elf, so if no one's on alone.
Vera will be willing to take first watch as she climbs to the top of the tree again.
I'll take second.
DM. Sure. The potion of watchful rest. It allows you to stay up, perform light activities. Would using leatherworker's tools and working on a bag be considered a light enough activity to work through the night after downing one of those?
I would say that crafting a magic item through the night might be a little more than light activity, but let me check something real quick.
The actual writing is you could remain awake during a long rest and still gain its benefits. Makes no mention of traveling while you work. I assume it is for taking watch.
Okay, so if you have the potion and you want to take it, you can work through the night, but at the end you'll have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Is that any different functionally from just staying up anyway?
Actually, I don't think there is. So never mind.
All right, Alistair will turn in.
No, I mean never mind. In that you can go ahead and use it.
All right. While the people are taking watch, I'll build. Just need to know how many hours we get. Or how long the watch is going to be. I'm assuming 8 hours.
A watch is 4 hours.
Yeah, right, but you have to take 2 watches because we got humans in the group.
Yep. So it's 8 hours total between 2 watches.
Okay. Then there's prep time to get up and going. So, I would like to clock in 10 hours during this rest and subsequent prep and cleanup time.
Yeah, you can clock 10 hours.
All right, cool.
I assume you're getting to work on the...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and make a tool check in the morning. You've got your leatherworking tools. This is going to be a dexterity-based check.
Okay. Cool beans.
This is mostly stitch work that you're doing.
That's a 27.
Dear God. Yeah, by the time everyone is rising to meet the day, you've been up all night. You've woven aether dust into your stitch work onto 2 almost identical looking pouches.
Oh no, I only have enough to get 1 bag done, so this is
just 1
step
bag.
1.
Okay, step 1. You have your first bag done. You even get to embroider it a little if you like. But there's rune work around the top, around the bottom. Maybe a centerpiece where some of the rune work curves into a design of your choosing. But you
Right on.
have one of your pouches made. Okay, and as you finish up, the party sets off once more. Anything in particular that Valor Company would like to tend to during the morning?
Prepping and cleaning my guns to make sure that they are in good shape.
All right, easily done.
Asking if everyone has enough melee weapons.
Nod to Jaeger. I'm set for now, I think.
What's Tarot got?
Taro blinks owlishly at Jaeger and then kind of gives a little laugh and shakes his head. If I get close enough to use a physical weapon, then I am too close to be of much use.
And yet that does not answer the question.
He holds up his staff.
Jaeger pulls out the fire lance and hands it to him.
I do not know how to use such things.
That's unfortunate.
You're still holding it out to him?
Yeah, might as well. Because Jaeger has too many attunement items.
Is it a special lance?
It's the fire lance. 1d6 fire damage on a successful hit. I mean, somebody else can claim it because he's not.
Taro does use his staff to kind of like gently nudge it away. I think that might be better served in someone else's hands.
Jaeger shrugs and throws it back.
I have a relic, so.
All right. Your final adjustments are made to your armory, your weaponry, and you head out. As you head out into the forest once more, let me get a round of perception checks.
I got a dirty 20 on mine.
Yeah, I found the button. All right. So with the trees out in the forest, it makes it kind of hard to keep an eye on the sky, even though you all constantly keep looking up to make sure that you don't get caught unawares. Everyone who got a 20 or more you all can see somewhat ahead of you, up through the trees, a suspicious shape in the sky high above you. Between Vera and Say and their abilities to climb exceedingly fast, you're able to scale one of the nearby trees, and under the cover of the branches, you see the goblin balloon from a much more close-up perspective. You see a large, roundish ball made of stitched together pelts, it looks like, from the distance. Although, Say, you do have a eyeglass, right?
I do. I should have
Yeah,
rolled that
see?
advantage.
So you can see that it's stitched together and held by several ropes to a large basket, it looks like. You see between them, there seems to be some kind of metal rig with fire shooting out of the middle. Um, and you can see goblins peering out of the sides with, it looks like devices reminiscent of two spyglasses lashed together. And they're kind of peering out more towards the sky than towards the ground at the moment.
That's a terrible design. It'll never take off. I mean the glasses. Alright. The basket. Is it a metal basket or is it a wicker basket?
It looks more like a wooden basket. Not exactly wicker, but it's got a wooden framework, and it looks like there's some canvas on the sides.
I wanna fuck with it, but I don't have spells anymore. I got nothing. Short of gun, and I'm not sure we're ready to cast gun. Actually, I'm gonna use I'll use the earring. Do we want to pick a fight with the war balloon or just avoid it?
Avoid? They said that they're if we're gonna try and win over the small ones like
Question.
gnomes.
DM. Is it close enough that Alistair's grappling hook would work?
What's
no.
the range on your grappling hook, Alistair?
Let's see. It's a range of 60 feet.
Oh, okay, so no.
From the treetops, how high is the balloon?
Oh, it's probably at least like 100 feet.
Well, Say has boots of feral leaping.
I have a terrible, awful plan.
He jumps 40 feet and grapples onto it and... Say, do you need to get closer to it?
Do we want to do this? Because we can do this.
What exactly are we doing?
We don't know if the queen bean is on that one or not, and if we're trying to keep nice with our goblin, whatever they were.
That's why I'm talking about invading it physically and not just blowing it out of the sky.
But like a diplomatic mission.
Incidentally, the war balloon itself that basket is only big enough for maybe like 5 normal-sized people, maybe a little less. It's not very big.
So, we just pull aside for a moment. I kind of imagine Say wants to get up there and just have a chit-chat. Or is it more aggressive than that?
It's probably more aggressive than a chit-chat, but it depends on who they find up there. If they find that these are friends of Frank and maybe willing to defect or give us information, that's one thing. But if I get up there and there's a Shatterkai and shit gets weird, I'm just throwing the Shatterkai out of the basket.
I can probably get you up there with a combination of spells and the hookshot. I'm
down for this bullshit. Like, It feels like Valor Company brand bullshit, but if everyone
It
else is
feels like Valor Company bullshit. I would like to toss the
I
hook
can-
shot up to.
We don't even need the hook shot. I can change you into a bird. I can become a bird, so you're not going up there alone.
yeah,
and
but
I
then
could
I
drop-
can't change out of being a bird.
Yes. If you just beam one of the fuck, like, if we fly up and there are Shatterkai and you want to beam one in the fucking head and knock him off, you go flying fuck at him as fast as you can, and I will drop the focus so that you can just knock him the fuck out of the basket.
All right.
Yeah, but the hook shot's more fun.
Off to the side, you see Vera and Taro are kind of discussing both plans, and Taro seems in favor of efficiency, and Vera keeps coming back to, but this would be more fun.
All right, turn me into a bird. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go invade the Goblin Abilene and see if we can get them to defect or give us any information that they might find might be relevant.
We'll catch you if you fall.
Sounds good.
I quickly cast polymorph to turn Say into a hawk, and I will then use one of my wild shapes to turn myself into a hawk. Bonus action? Oh, that's not where the wild shape stuff is. Fine, I'll just manually do it. And then, yeah, I will head up and make sure that Say is not far behind.
Oh yeah, no. I am not.
All right, Hawk and Bird going up.
Yep, 2 ox, and I'm gonna to make it distracted, to make it look like distracted. I'm gonna like keep flying around her and making it look like it's just a natural, like, nature thing situation.
All right. The two of you head up with Taliesin kind of circling roughly around you, say. And as you climb up, one of the goblins that's peering off the side you do catch his attention, and he looks in your direction with his twin spyglass device. But as you gain kind of like of a level with them, you can see that inside the basket there are 3 goblins total. 2 of them are at the sides with the devices looking out over the veil. The third one is sitting on a stool and looks to be snacking on some kind of jerky. You see there is a bulky, weird-looking pack on his back that seems to have a large metal cylinder on it, whereas the other 2 seem to have backpacks on as well, which seems kind of weird for them to be wearing inside of the basket up here. But the one on the stool and the one looking out on the veil don't seem to be paying you any mind, although the one that you have drawn attention is watching you through his spyglasses.
All right, I don't know. I'm sure Taliesin and I figured out some signal for this, and I will head into the basket and land in the middle.
He can speak Hawk, and Taliesin will understand it.
Okay, I'll just screech, drop polymorph, I suppose, in Hawk.
As you go to dive into the basket, the one that was watching you gets really nervous and starts calling out to his companions, who both look up to see you screeching down into the basket. And is that when you drop?
I drop concentration on polymorph, and I go into a dive so that I'm not going to be more than a round behind her. Since you said there's room for 5 people, that makes 4 in there. There will be room just enough for me to show up.
Oh yeah, it'll be very confined spaces, but everyone will be in there. Say, you turn into yourself as you hit the floor of this basket, and there's a rounds of shouts and exclamations as one of the goblins shouts, the one that watched you approach. Oh God, The birds are attacking!
I'm gonna pull out both my guns, and I'm just gonna hold them.
Well, as you're doing this,
Sure.
the one that was seated on the stool leaps awkwardly to his feet since he's got this heavy backpack up and knocks over the stool that he was sitting on. And you see him bring a device up from his belt and kind of fumble with it. The device seems to be a metal something built around a stone of some sort. As the third goblin, who had been looking out across the veil, spins around and lets out a curse in goblin. Oh shit, you think this is what we're supposed to be watching for?
And at that point is when I'm going to land on the motherfucker who's reaching for something, because I don't know what it is, but it can't be any good. And I will polymorph back, or not polymorph, but wild shape back. And can I?
Let's see. This is going to be a dexterity check. You need to see if you beat him.
Let's see. Something. I'm gonna roll something I'm not proficient in just because it's a dex check. So 16.
16 total.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right. That does beat his roll. So say as you rise up, holding your weapons up in a sign of peace.
Mish, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Ooh, you're crackly.
A bit. You're crackling though.
Now?
We're
Yeah.
good.
Perfect.
Sorry, that was a mute button on my thing. All right, so Taliesin, you beat the goblin's number. You land on the one who is reaching for the device as he's fumbling with the device. Say you're rising to your feet with the guns held in a peaceful posture. Taliesin, what were you doing as you dived onto this goblin?
I was trying to prevent the goblin from grabbing whatever the metal device was that he was trying to clasp at. I don't know how it activates. Is it like connected via a cable or something, or is it just a single like rock kind of thing, or metal rod with a rock connected?
It looks like it's connected to a cable that's tied on his belt. The
Okay.
device itself doesn't look familiar to you in any way.
Then I would grab the cable and pull the device away, or like the end piece away, and move it off to the side.
Now, gentlemen, we just came to have a friendly chat.
There's a round of surprised shouts, borderline screams, and the two goblin watchers. Yeah, no, they they both fling themselves off of the basket.
What?
They go over the sides.
Okay. Wow.
The third one shouts at you, tries to wave you off, Taliesin, and then lowers his head, pulls out a kind of a metal cylinder with a large red button on the side and presses it. And I need to roll a quick d4.
Does the explosion go off or does it not?
Oh my god. Oh, Say's gonna be in so much trouble.
And this is gonna be kind of obvious, so yeah.
Oh. Now I need to look up the item.
I assume that worked then.
Oh no.
Is Klinkle gonna feather fall the goblins that are falling?
Oh,
They have
unstable
parachutes.
artifice.
They have parachutes.
They're fine.
Huh. Okay.
101, something bad happens.
Guess what that goblin rolled?
Oh no.
Something bad for all of us or something bad for him?
I feel like it's
Yeah.
yes.
Alright.
Oh wow, this goblin is not lucky at all. Oh, no.
Apparently, neither are we, probably.
No.
Should have let in with Frank sent us, and maybe they wouldn't have ran away.
No, they were already spooked. It was not going to be a good thing.
So those of you on the ground, you see the small forms of the hawks dart into the basket. A moment later, you see a pair of goblins go flying out of the basket. They take like one quick tumble in the air, and then suddenly from their backs, it's these large sheets erupt from their backpacks. And they catch the air, and they start to slowly descend towards the ground in two different directions.
And get caught in the tree.
Then you see an explosion in the basket.
Oh,
That's not good.
that's problematic.
Say and Taliesin, you both take 14 fire damage
Alright.
as
Well, that
he
isn't
presses
too
the
bad.
button, and his backpack explodes. Shit! Boom! He's also this. Oh boy. So this happens to everything within a 10-foot radius, and as mentioned, that basket is not very big. He's also right underneath the
Yeah.
aperture that is on fire and is holding this balloon aloft.
Is this a Hindenburg sort of situation?
Not quite, thankfully. But there is a small secondary explosion, and the balloon itself starts to fold in, and there's your stomach kind of leaps up into your throat as you feel the floor kind of drop out beneath you as the fire starts to clear in your eyes, and now everything is falling.
How high up is this?
It's around 100 feet.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Jaeger's gonna assume that Taliesin can, shapeshift again. He's going to, use his new boots to teleport fucking straight up, towards the balloon.
Can you
Oh.
teleport
That has multiple
back?
charges.
Because then we're just all falling.
I have,
Well, Twinkle has Featherfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quinkle had, or at least she had Featherfall.
Twinkle permanently has Featherfall.
So
because-
does Alistair, so.
And Alistair has
Jaeger's in the
Featherfall.
air.
So, all right. So Jaeger, you can teleport a maximum of your move distance.
Which is
How
50
far is your
feet.
move distance?
50 feet.
50 feet. Okay. You're on the ground. You can wait a moment for them to fall within range before you can do it, or you can teleport 50 feet straight up right now.
Go now. There's a fucking explosion.
Keep in mind, you will be a little more than 50 feet below them if you were to.
That's fine.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It has multiple charges.
Yes. I was gonna.
Does that account for your dashing speed?
It does not reflect dashes, just
Okay.
your base walking speed. All right, what's
Does it
everyone
take an
else
action
doing?
to use?
It does take an action. So he jumps
Yes.
up, falls for 6 seconds, and then
Yeah, no, he would instantly, by the time that he would,
Oh,
like by the end of the
you fall like
back on
10
the
feet a
ground
second,
again.
don't you?
Yeah, you fall pretty fucking fast. You would teleport up, and then at the end of the round, you would be back on the floor again. That's how that works.
Yeah, you fall at 10 feet a second, so you would teleport up 50 feet and then fall down 60.
Well, that's stupid.
So I'm going to say Jaeger does the quick calculation in his head.
It says aloud, well, that's stupid.
What else is happening on the ground before we check in on the falling elves?
The goblins that fell out of the balloon, how far down did they fall? Are either of them before their pouches open up within 90 feet of the ground?
Within 90 feet of the ground? Yes, they are. They are they're falling in two separate directions, so they're not falling like right on top of you.
Okay. Just some quick mental math. I'm gonna glance at Clinkle. If they don't get down, help them down. I'm gonna go after these ones. Kanani, you're fast. Can you chase that goblin real quick? I'll point at one goblin who is preparing to go, and I will look at the other goblin that's falling. And Alistair will make like a gesture with his fingers, like panning through a camera, like when you frame an image. Utter a few arcane phrases and cast Vortex Warp. So he has to make a con saving throw, the guy who's falling. Just post the spell real quick.
Please do.
Damn!
Oh, that's a good one. He rolled remarkably high for having no...
I wiggle my nose.
Oh, no.
And I make that go down by 3.
Is there a range to your ability?
I don't think there is. As long as I can see him.
That's Tides of Chaos?
No, that's
Benlock?
Benlock.
Benlock.
Yeah, when another creature you can see, there's no range. All right.
There is
Holy
no
shit!
Fox shenanigans. That goes
Okay.
down by 3. He fails his Constitution save.
Okay. Alistair, where are you teleporting this goblin?
Yeah, so I'm taking like the viewfinder and pushing my. Basically, he's got the goblin in between his fingers, and then swings his arm to the side and places the goblin through his quote-unquote viewfinder on the ground, within 5 feet of him, between him and Emmett.
Okay, so he appears on the ground between you two just as he pulls the cord on his backpack.
Flush.
His parachute flies out and then slowly settles around the three of you.
About to say, can the monk help grapple?
This is all happening in a split second. Vera is still going, what the as the fireball happened. And she's probably going to start leaping from tree to tree to get kind of closer to where Say and Taliesin would fall. But I'm circling back to Say and Taliesin as all of this happens. The thing you're standing on suddenly drops out beneath you, and you are caught amidst the falling balloon. What are your guys' immediate reactions?
Push away
the
from the
gob-
wreckage.
Did the goblin survive?
He most certainly did not.
Okay. Did his body somewhat dissolve, leaving that belt and the thing that I'm holding on just
Do you
in my
want to
hand,
take the
or
time to get a clear idea of the situation you're in?
honestly, if we're falling, I'm still holding on to one end of the thing, singed, and if the fucking goblin is still there, I'm just hefting the fucking body up and pushing away from the wreckage. If the body really isn't there, and when I go to lift,
In your hawk form, you can feel the weight.
no, I'm not in hawk. I'm human. Or I'm not my elf form right now because I had to unshift in order to grab the shit.
Oh, I thought you had grabbed it in your claws.
No.
Okay, that changes a couple of things. So,
Because also I would have been knocked the fuck out of my hawk form.
Oh, that's
with
true
that
as well.
explosion.
You know what? I'm going to need give me a sleight of hand check because I want to see if you actually manage to hold on to this in the face of. Okay, you hold on to it. You find in your hand is a length of cord of wire connected to this strange device on one side and nothing on the other side. And you're falling.
Okay, I will push away from the wreckage just so that I'm, not going to get smothered, and I'm going to trust that my companions are going to catch me.
Say, as soon as they're within 60 feet, I'm gonna feather fall them.
All right. Because everyone falls, you would have fallen, 60 feet. That turn, within a couple seconds, you're within Klinkle range, and Klinkle manages to cast Featherfall on the two of you, allowing you to kind of drift gracefully down amidst the trees. Vera moving in the trees to kind of try and catch Say as you descend. The flaming wreckage of the balloon is plummeting into the forest nearby. One goblin is riding his parachute down, and the other one is on the ground.
I'm following the one on the parachute because Alistair told me to. So I'm running after that.
Yeah, Say doesn't know that someone is running after him, and will also, once she's got feet on land, will also be heading in that direction.
And we will deal with that next time, as this is a good place to end the session.
Boom.
Aww. We can't get to a spot where they're like just held down so we can interrogate them in forums.
We gotta see if this goblin manages to sneak away. You did just blow up everything that was about to happen, and yeah, that did not go the direction I expected it to go.
Apparently they were not interested in talking.
I mean, two birds just dive bombed their ship and then transformed into strange elves in the middle of them. That's alarming.
She said I would like to have a conversation.
And to be fair, the one that pressed the button did not intend to blow himself up.
I think most goblins don't intend on blowing themselves.
This
That
is
just
true.
happens.
One
And
less
yet
war
they
balloon.
do.
One less war balloon.
One less war balloon. Hey,
Let's put a big X on that.
however the job gets done. Bye. See ya.
Man, so I've been watching NCS, and I'm just seeing Vera just gib slapping the hell out of Say, because she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna just go be up there, it's fine, and then blows herself up.
Dead.
Dead. Double dead.
Double dead. It's so dead. Undead.
I don't have something to show just like exploded. Oh, wait.
Burning!
Works for me.
Dead
Works
and
for me.
Dead
burning.
and burning.
I like
Nope,
burning better
I'm
than
dead.
dead.
Itch.
Oh, Jeebus.
Say's gonna be like, this isn't even the first time I've fallen out of the sky this week. Hey,
That was abrupt.
I feel like Say's gotten really good at falling from big heights, and it's just like fine now. Fell off the airship. Fell off the Eagles when they were leaving in the Alarani tribe lands. It's just like, yeah, I just fall.
After a while, you just embrace the fall. It's going to happen. You might as well do it with style.
I really can't stop gravity, so I mean,
You just gotta just make yourself a very large target and hope one of your friends catches you.
yeah, basically.
It's a trust fall.
Yeah, that's what Sade basically did. Like, I didn't get to get a word in edgewise, but she just kicked away from the wreckage and just like flipped out her coat so she could be a giant ass target for Klinkle or Alistair to catch.
She showed up, the goblins got scared and ran away.
New
Okay.
plan.
Well, I feel like it didn't start in Valor Company fashion, but it certainly ended in Valor Company fashion.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
After the goblins are taken care of, Taliesin just walks up holding the thing. Alistair, this is for you.
There's nothing left to revivify. The poor bastard's been atomized.
No.
We'll get there.
The
We'll have
device.
this conversation in character, y'all.
Yep.
Oh, this is
Thank
me out
you.
of character. I'm like, I want to use that spell. I guess we're not using it today.
No. Not revivify. You can't revivify a lack of
can't
corpse.
revivify-
You have to revivify a full body.
Also, you can't
Oh, I
revivify
know this.
electronics.
I mean, you might find the body, but probably not in time to revivify.
The body has to be. All the body parts have to be together and in one piece.
Yeah, that might be an issue.
Yeah, the wording on revivify is quite specific.
Yeah, we've run into this problem before. That's why we had to use reincarnate. Reincarnate versus, I think, even raise dead. Raise dead doesn't return body parts either.
So that goblin was trying to just like jetpack off, and things did not go as planned.
Yeah, I was wondering what you said it was a big backpack. I'm like, man, that seems a little excessive to have a suicide button. I'm like, that's probably not a suicide button.
No,
I
no.
mean,
it's-
it ended up being one.
Yep.
Oh, as soon as I saw that one, I'm like, I know there's a scale on this, but I think one means what I think it means.
One means what you think it means.
It's D&D. One always means what you think it means.
The higher quality of the goblin tech, the bigger the die, but a 1 is always a 1.
But one is always a one. All
I
right.
didn't even put explosives in this one. Doesn't matter, it explodes.
Yeah, that's goblin tech for you. They've got some advanced technology, but it's just not stable.
It is just not stable.
Thank you all for game.
Hey, thanks for running.
I'm going to investigate this resin print now.
Hell yeah, have fun.
Hell
If you have
yeah.
any questions, I'll be here for a bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what I do next.
You soak it in alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay, so I